The media of primetime reality shows, sitcoms, and game shows is one of LA's top moneymakers and employers. Roy Bank is president of Merv Griffin Entertainment. Roy, thanks for coming to LA Business Today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, you stepped into the shoes of an LA icon.
National icon.
National icon, but certainly, you know, a treasure for Los Angeles. I remember coming here and going to the hotels and seeing the Merv Griffin posters up and thinking, wow. What is it like to be taking over, it was a little over a year ago, as president of Merv Griffin Entertainment?
It's actually been an incredible sort of journey in that I get this rich tradition, this rich history that Merv Griffin left behind, both as an entertainer, a businessman. I mean, here in LA, the story goes that at one point he was the highest taxpayer in Beverly Hills. So he loved California and he loved Los Angeles, and this was his home for many years. So I get to do that, but I also get to play with that history and treat it like a blank slate and start over and reinvent what he started. So it's not limiting, but it's exciting.
And your background, you came from Mark Burnett Productions. You created and produced Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yes, I did. I'm not smarter than a fifth grader, but yes, I did.
Really popular show. My oldest son, 28, actually brought it into our condo where he had played it with all of us over Christmas.
Oh, that's funny.
We all we pretended we did your game show. So, I'm already a fan.
Well, thank you.
And I know that you made a lot of school teachers happy with that show.
We really did. That was probably the best sort of pleasant surprise or side benefit from it. We set out to just make entertainment, and the business of it is obviously something that, is the focus. We're all here to make money and do that. But there's something really cool about when you can do that, when you can have those pieces, be socially relevant, be entertaining, be financially successful, and then also you start getting letters from teachers and students. Teachers say, we show this in our classroom. It's part of their homework assignment on Thursday nights to watch the show, and then Friday we build it into our lesson plan. And we keep hearing how it got kids excited about learning. And for me, while I wish I could say I set out to do that,
right,
it's not what I set out to do, but it was a great side benefit. We really loved it.
Well, in this show, we're really talking about social media and, of course, reality shows, the genre, what you're doing. How do we make money doing these kinds of shows, and what's it like now? What's the job scene like now in the business that you head up?
The thing that I focus on, and I think it's whether you're talking about socially relevant, socially conscious, you have to focus on entertainment. If it's not entertaining, there is no business. People, it is still an advertising-driven medium. If you go on network television, it's all paid for by advertisers. The commercials that sit in between. We often joke that we are nothing more than placeholders in between commercial breaks because that's what pays for the show. So if you're not entertaining enough, people won't come to watch it. So my biggest fear is that whether it's my company, the shows I get pitched, or the networks themselves, is that sometimes they'll focus too much on being socially relevant, socially conscious, and forget about the entertainment part. You can have all the green programming you want, but if it's not entertaining, it's not going to draw in viewers, and therefore no one's going to want to pay for it.
And what is more socially relevant than jobs? And jobs right now, which are in big demand. How has the business of reality TV sitcoms and game shows been doing during this economic downturn?
It's affecting us just like it's affecting everyone else. We're not immune to it. The biggest difference, I would say, is, if you look at any programming schedule, whether it's cable or network, they have a certain amount of hours to fill, and they're going to fill them whether or not, the economy is good or bad. NBC has to put something on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock, whether it's, whether the economy is booming or whether it's dying. What the difference is the hit show used to be able to pay for a lot more failures than it can now. So where people are getting hurt is there are less productions that we don't hear about. The viewer at home doesn't hear about the zillions of failures that happen that Friends paid for all those years, or Carson or Leno, or any of these shows pay for a lot of failures. They try a lot of stuff. They throw a lot of stuff up against the wall and see what sticks.
But somebody's getting a paycheck.
Yeah,
Someone's doing a job because of the success of one big show.
Exactly. And the problem now is they're taking less swings and less tries at it because they can't afford the failures, because the successes aren't as successful. The economy isn't as strong as the failures. So when a syndicated daytime program launches a new show, there used to be a business model that the money would be able to pay for them launching 5 new shows next year. And if they didn't work, they didn't work. Now that one show maybe they launch 2 next year, or 1. So that's 5 shows that didn't get made, or 3 shows that didn't get made.
And that's a lot of pressure on Roy Bank, president of Merv Griffin Entertainment.
It's a lot of pressure on any of us out there trying to sell television shows. We are, it's interesting. I'm in the unique position of being both a buyer and a seller. People pitch me shows every day, and I turn around and pitch those shows every day to broadcasters. And so as a seller, there's a lot less slots. There's a lot less money out there. Companies that you used to walk into a buyer and say, here's my idea, and they might say, wow, we want to do this, and we want to give you 13 episodes of it. Now they look at you and say, if we gave you like a couple $100,000, could you make something that proves that it works?
So there's less money available for the production.
Yep.
It's a high risk game, but there's not as much room for failure.
Correct.
What's your advice to people who want to make television shows today? If people that come in and pitch you, what would you tell them about what angle do they come in with business to pitch you now?
The biggest angle to come in with business is that I think that looking for diversity in revenue streams, looking for a show that can live in more places than one. Can you build in advertisers into the show? When I produced Apprentice, for example, we would build in advertisers right into the body of the show. You'd see Donald Trump saying things like, today we're going to be working with Ford Motor Cars, and Ford is my favorite. They paid us for that. So we call it integration. It's sponsored integration. So that's the first thing. Maybe there's other components that can be done elsewhere. Maybe there's an extension. You said your son came in to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Right.
Well, that was the #1 board game in America.
Yeah.
That's a real moneymaker. Now, if you make less on the show, you're okay because Hasbro has partnered with you and has the #1 board game in America out there. So it's having a show that has more brand extensions than it used to, as well as something that translates to overseas. The overseas market is still very healthy in the television world. So Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader is in 65 countries around the world.
Right.
Sometimes it's the tape that we made here, sometimes it's a format. So it's all those brand extensions. It's not just, here's my show. It's here's my show and here's all the tentacles that can run off of it.
Roy Bank, thanks for being with us on LA Business Today. I'm sure a lot of viewers out there are now figuring out how they can pitch a show to Roy Bank if they get lucky enough.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.